Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today I am on the public test server to have a look at an Enclave Plasma Rifle. As you can see, this one has a stabilized sniper barrel, a stabilized stock, and a short scope, which makes it a perfect setup for a sniper. Now, I really haven't used it this way before, at least not the Enclave Plasma or Plasma in general. I like my sniper weapons to be suppressed, which obviously this cannot be. And we've got it modified with Furious, Explosive, Faster Reload. The second star, I tend to go with extra critical damage, or if I was going to only manual aim, I would do the Hitman's effect. However, I tend to use these as a mix, and so I decided to do explosive. That way we'll get a benefit no matter which style we are playing. Using scatter shot, 20% of damage dealt to a limb is applied to all limbs on your target. So say we're hitting the head for 100 damage, we'll do 20 damage on each and every other limb on the target, which will help us cripple things better, at least in theory. Now, there is an issue right now where energy damage isn't doing as much limb damage. In fact, it's doing a lot less limb damage than ballistic, but this has split damage. So we should still be doing a decent amount of limb damage. We'll see how it goes. Number Cruncher will do it 2% more damage per AP cost. The AP cost on this is 28, so that'll be 56% more damage. Downranger, extra 20% range damage to far enemies. Center Masochist, this will mainly come into effect when I am manually aiming if I'm not able to do a headshot, so an extra 75% range damage to the torso. And since I do have explosive on that second star, I figure I'd do Grenadier, and that way maybe we'll be able to take out 2 targets with 1 shot. I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll give it a go. Of course, we have Demolition Expert because of that explosive second star. And for the energy portion of the damage, we will be using Science, which will boost that damage up. So with Intelligence of 24, that will translate into 30% more energy damage. Now I am using the Master and Expert versions of all the Gunslinger and Gorilla cards. Also using Enforcer for extra 75% limb damage and a chance to stagger. Since we aren't going to be suppressed, a lot of times we will not be able to stay out of danger. So if we can stagger a target, that should help us a little bit. And Adrenaline, the reworked Adrenaline card. So if we're facing multiple enemies, which will be pretty much most of the time, extra 10% damage per kill up to 10 kills. And for those times we're doing critical hits, Critical Savvy, and Better Criticals. Now, as far as the mutations, these are ones I'm running. The big ones, I mean, Speed Demon isn't super important. We only hold 9 rounds, so we're reloading fairly often, but this reloads reasonably quick. So Speed Demon is minorly important, I would say. Herd Mentality, that matters because it boosts all our specials, so extra intelligence translates into more damage from Science. Herbivore, that will come into effect for our veggie food. Egghead, again, extra intelligence, helps boost that Science card up. And Eagle Eyes for extra critical damage. We also have Adrenal Reaction, which is like Adrenaline, but it's 5% instead of 10%, stacks up to 10. And then Blight Soup, 100% extra critical damage. So I'm a big fan of plasma guns in general. I like them, all right, that's not gonna work. I like them as an automatic especially, and as a flamer as well. That's obviously only a close-up weapon. As a sniper, it's just not something I've used much. Part of it is the projectile can travel rather slowly. So that can be a bit of an issue, not for VATS really, but for manual aim. Looks like we have invisible walls there, which is a thing that happens, but it looks like when we connect, we can do a one-shot, and he moved. A one-shot kill. So yeah, this is doing okay damage. I mean, the numbers, the Pip-Boy numbers actually look pretty good. I'm not sure how accurate they are. I know there have been issues through the entire PTS cycle where the numbers in the Pip-Boy just aren't accurate, you know, one direction or another. So yeah, I'm not, they should be a good ballpark though, even if they're not entirely accurate, they should be a good ballpark. One thing I do like about this versus something like a hunting rifle is the, or a Gauss even, is the, probably should be using bats here. And he's crippled, so kind of immobilized him. Is the ammo capacity. I mean, 9 isn't massive, but for a semi-automatic, it's actually really good. Especially for something like this. It's not, we can actually take out, especially when we're killing things in one hit like this. So we're being very ammo efficient. Now, if this was an automatic, obviously, there you are. If this was an automatic, obviously having ammo capacity of 9 would be a big problem, which was the Gamma Gun's only 8. So there you go. But yeah, this is so far so good. I mean, it does have a slower travel time, but it's not like the what is it, the Alien Disintegrator, which has just an insanely slow travel time. Plus, it doesn't have a scope, so that one you really, this may, oh, we actually can get through there. Doesn't seem like it did much in the way. We're getting a bunch of floating numbers. I don't know if they're all actually happening, though. So even though it's not suppressed, we seem to be killing things quickly enough that... he's using his dead friend as cover. There you go. But we kill stuff quick enough, we stay hidden because there's nothing left to detect us. Let's try a VATS. Oh, I can't. I was gonna say let's try VATS, but VATS wasn't locking on. Not the highest percent hit chance, that's for sure. But once we land the shot, we're good. Let's do that. Yeah, so far I actually like this. This is this works pretty well. And the damage is very nice. I do like it. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would switch to this over a hunting rifle. Obviously, with the Enclave Plasma, you're kind of at the mercy of how they drop. This one was just one that came from a particular drop connection. I got it as a reward with this particular combination of effects. So, or you can find the mods, which can be a bit of a thing as well. So it's not like you choose it. I mean, basically this drops like this and you go, all right, I guess that's how I'll use it. Let's see if we could do some critical on the fusion cores. Crippling, did crippling work? I mean, it's not shooting at me, but I'm still in caution. That's actually surprising. You would think I wouldn't be in caution. This is not a quiet weapon. But yeah, the crippling, very often with those fusion cores, if you're doing enough damage, you can cripple them and they just no longer attack you. So even though they're aware of your presence, it doesn't necessarily matter. This is gonna be close-up quarters, so I think we will be doing some VATS here and there when we can. A lot easier than, although maybe not through that. There we go. Actually, for hip fire, this is actually pretty decent for hip fire as well. This is yeah, I like this. This is kind of an all-purpose. However you want to use it, it seems to work pretty well. Manual aim, hip fire. Yeah, there we go. I like this. This is great. This actually, yeah, so far so good. This is taking down all comers so far. All right, let's see about some Snallies. They tend to be tankier. Let's see. It's hard to tell. Like I always think, oh, he's been crippled, but I don't know. They seem to be very tough to cripple. You think they're crippled and it's just a stagger, but so far so good. All right, let's hit him with a critical. I think that was a critical. So yeah, that was a one shot. That's kind of always the thing with that is with the Snallies, if you can crit and kill them with one shot, the weapon's doing pretty good. Obviously, you can kill them in one shot without a. That was a nothing there. A complete miss is what that was. So yeah, and this has a good fire rate too. Basically, you can shoot about as quickly as you can pull the trigger. All right, let's start off. Ooh, let's start off with this one. While he's not paying attention, hopefully there's no invisible walls. 2 shots for you, and wait. I didn't kill him. I thought I killed him, but I did not. And apparently I'm not sneaking anymore, which not sure why that's not a thing. I meant to be sneaking, but sometimes what we mean to do and what we actually do don't match up at all. So let's see about, what do we have over here? I'm thinking we probably have, yep, there's a Blood Eagle, Mirelurk King. That was a critical in the head for him. So yeah, we got everything going. Not much of a kill streak though, only 5. So let's get over here and get the Mirelurk Queen out while we still have our time. Actually seems like there should be more enemies. We're going to do, let's see, we're going to do the spouts here. Yeah, the nice thing about, okay, so crippling is actually working pretty well. Okay, yeah. That was, didn't even have time to think about it. So this one can't be suppressed, but it does have advantages. Not only the ammo capacity being higher than most other weapons that you would use as a sniper, but also that fire rate. I mean, you could use things like a fixer or a, handmade as a sniper as well, but their damage is way lower than this. So yes, those have a good fire rate, but I mean, look at, and the amount of damage we're getting with each shot is actually pretty nice as well. So this has a lot of versatility. Good for hip firing, good for, I mean, it doesn't have much in the way of recoil. So, wow, okay. Apparently I don't have much in the way of stealth, or they are just spawning on top of me, which feels more like what's actually happening. But yeah, this thing works just, I really like this. This kind of works however you want to use it. If you want to use it as hip fire, if you want to use it as VATS, if you want to use it as manual aim, it just does everything really well. It just doesn't, and the damage. It also does, big damage really well. All right, this is really silly, but I want to see how we do against the Guardian Shield. All I've done is I swapped out Adrenaline since there's no point in having it in here, put in 2 points of Modern Renegade for an extra 50% limb damage. I'm just kind of curious. I don't have high expectations for this, but I mean, we're getting good damage, and yeah, I mean, I've taken stupider things in here, so I figure why not? Let's give this a go. I just care about the shield. I don't really care about trying to solo the Guardian or whatever. I just don't. The problem with that is just with a low ammo capacity, it'll just take you a long time. But I am kind of curious to see what kind of damage we can get on the shield with something like this. So yeah, this will be staying alive as always is the thing, because we are wearing, you know, Covert Scout, which is not super tanky. I mean, it's not too bad in terms of damage, I will say. Not a quick fight. Probably should be doing this in third person so I can actually have better, there we go. So I can actually have better visibility there. I mean, not terrible in terms of damage. Definitely not a quick fight, but if I were on a team, I wouldn't feel bad that I wasn't contributing. I'm definitely contributing some damage here. So that's pretty good. Let's see how we do. All right. The AP cost, you know, that high AP cost that we like and for Number Cruncher kind of gets in the way here. And of course you could do, okay. I'm not really sure what kind of 4th star you'd put on this. I mean, it is a slow firing weapon generally. So maybe polish to be, although pinpointers would probably be a better one just for that extra weak spot damage. It wouldn't help us at all in here though. Since that is considered a limb, not necessarily weak spot. Yeah, this is doing okay. This is not probably not the recommended tool for this particular job, I don't think. Yeah, and at some point we'll get hit too many times or staggered at the wrong time, or yeah, running out of AP constantly because of the that high AP cost. But this is, you know, we're able to get some knocks in, so not too bad. I guess if you were really ambitious and you wanted to you know, definitely this isn't a grind that you would want to do. Okay. I think a hunting rifle would probably, well, of course it has a much slower fire rate, but a hunting rifle does all ballistic damage. And ballistic is really what you want against the shield because, you know, limb damage from energy just isn't, okay, well, I don't know. It feels like we're at a standstill here. Getting staggered and, all right, we're getting it done. Now I'm crippled and, ooh, I managed to stay alive. I'm gonna run out of stim packs. What's actually going to happen? This is kind of on the silly side. This is probably a bad idea here. That limb though is almost dead. Yep, the shield's dead. What's the damage like on the torso? I mean, we're chipping away at every shot. So, I mean, 1,000 for just tip firing. That's not too. I mean, that's not terrible. That's a decent amount of damage. And there you have the Enclave Plasma Sniper Rifle. I like this a lot. I think it does really well. I mean, it's very versatile, which I would not have thought of before. But yeah, I mean, it works for hip fire because of how stable it is. It works for VATS. You know, obviously the AP cost is pretty high, so it works for 1 or 2 shots. Obviously, you don't want to do what I did against the Guardian and stand there and shoot repeatedly because your AP will just go away really quickly. And it works for manual aim. So this works great. Sneak attacks, it actually worked better than I expected. For sneak attacks as well. It has a decent range and enemies die very quickly. So if they're dead, they can't detect you. But as far as all the damage changes and the perk card changes, that is expected with the early June patch. At least I think it's going to be early June. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit one of the buttons and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.